take roll.
Tim Heiss.
Here.
Keith Malloy.
Here.
Sarah Black.
Here.
Delia is absent. Steve.
Here.
Okay, trust everybody's had a chance to review the minutes. If there's no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Don't have any appeals. Let's move on down to department heads. Brad?
I don't have much of anything out of the ordinary. Just been short-handed here for a little bit, so we're not getting as many nails pounded and screws tightened down as we should or could. I mean, there's nothing critical that's being let go, but it just tightens things up when you're short on manpower. And it's that way for a couple different reasons, so. Next, Steve's gonna talk about one avenue of a fix for that, but then, I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but we may have to do a little more of that too. So. And there's only so many hours in a day and so many people to get done what needs done.
Okay. Rob?
Got two things. The first thing is the sewer use ordinance. If I'm looking at the email correctly, I think IDEM has accepted
That's the way I.
and it's updated and that's done. So I feel like we need to have a party. It's been well over a year, hasn't it? Working on that?
I would say that's
Every
pretty
year.
close.
Year and a
Yeah.
half. So that's completed. So we can mark that off the list. The other thing is with lateral inspections that we get called about and they drag their feet and never take care of, what they need to for the lateral inspections, and then the houses sell. This actually happened to Steve with the house that they purchased. The owner knew that there were repairs that need to be done, and they sell the house without having the necessary repairs done. So we've never used the ordinance officer as an avenue to get the work done, and we've started doing that. We're testing out a couple. We already got locate called in for one of them. We met with Kyle and we're gonna have to come up with a system, and it might take a little while and we might have to work the bugs out, adjust some things, but for now at 60 days, we're gonna give Kyle the information when no work has been done. We're gonna give them one courtesy call, and we're gonna explain to them that if no movement, if there's not been any movement on the work required, we're gonna turn this over to the ordinance officer. At 60 days, Kyle's going to issue them a warning citation. Hopefully, that'll be the end of it. But this has happened time and time again where people they don't wanna do the repairs, they sell it real quick, and then the new people come in to get their water turned on and they can't. So we're hoping this will kind of clean up our files. We are going to go back through the past files and start little by little going through the old ones to get them caught up. My fear is some of them have probably been sold 3 times, so it's kind of where we're at there. I don't know if anybody has any comments or questions about citing people.
That violation goes on the seller?
It's the seller's responsibility. Now, the seller can negotiate and put money in it. We've had it before where they'll put money in escrow, agree to, up to so much, or that the new owner they sign a contract. This is all done with the private parties, not us.
So that new owner can take on the responsibility.
Take on the responsibility, but know that they're not gonna get their water turned on until at least a significant, progress has been shown. Right now, sometimes we require to have people have the clean out put in and say the sump pump removed, and if you'll do those two things, we'll turn your water on and then figure out what else needs to be done. And then there's where people don't follow through. Once they get their water turned on, they don't care. So,
Well, is it written in there that, say that scenario happens, that after that period of time, whatever it is, we can go back, shut the water back off?
there's nothing in there about that, but we can have the repairs done and put a lien on the property with an added 20% service charge. So there are avenues, or they could be cited for being out of violation. I mean, we've never gone to these extents before, but it's frustrating when the new people are getting sideswiped, with this big expense, when the reason why it was set up that way is because usually the owners have some money, at the time of the sale of the property, they're gonna be receiving money, so.
And I've noticed through the years of us doing this lateral inspection ordinance that we'll tell someone they have to have, we need to do a lateral inspection. We can't because you don't have two-way clean out. So, okay, all right, they'll hire somebody to come and do the two-way clean out. And at that point, they get the idea that they've done what they were supposed to do. Well, then when we're capable of doing the lateral inspection, then we find more wrong.
So they gotta come back.
So then they get kicked in the head again. Okay, you've had the clean out put in, but now that we've came and done the inspection, now 30 feet down here, you've got severe root intrusion, broken down lateral pipe, whatever. So oftentimes what they make a very diligent effort at doing is when the contractor is there, that we need to be notified right then and there, even prior to having the clean out installed, because they're going to have an opening in the pipe. We can do the inspection right then and there, so we already know, okay, you're doing this, I know it's costing you this much, but before this gets all done and complete, let us look at it with the camera, get it down in there, and it might be 5 foot further they need a repair. It might be 105 foot they need another repair. I don't, you never know what you're going to find until you put the camera in, but I get it where some of them feel like they're getting kicked in the head. Well, we done what you told us to do. We put the clean out in. Well, we needed the clean out so we could do the inspection on the rest of the pipe. And then we found this, and this wrong.
Can we have enforce something where the contractor has to basically, almost in the form of a permit, where in order for the contractor to start work, they have to contact us?
We should be able to pass that as an ordinance, that
That's what I was
we're going to
thinking.
begin issuing.
Codify that, and so that it's basically mandatory that they contact you. You're probably not going to be able to make that as enforceable on somebody doing it for themselves, just like anything else with a permit.
That'd be helpful.
But if you could force that to where the contractor has to notify you, I'm going to do this job, I'm gonna be there on this date, and you say, okay, and that way you have somebody there, it's easier for you to schedule.
Well, it's just like when they come in to dig the footers for the headstones at the
Yeah.
cemetery. They have to go to the city building and get a permit.
Exactly. They have to have a
There
permit.
are a few changes that I'd like to make to the lateral inspection ordinance. I didn't want to slow the city attorney down. We had talked about this last year,
Yeah.
but I needed to get this other done with
Right.
IDEM. It
No,
was more
that's-
pressing. I didn't want to slow her down. But I want to come up with that third trigger for a sewage in the basement or in the yard, where we can trigger a full-blown lateral inspection at that
Yeah.
point.
Right.
For your point about people contacting us, I did explain, these people did the work themselves.
Mhm.
And I explained to them, I showed them a two-way clean out, took a picture, showed them everything, and this is what they put in.
Okay.
I made them break it up, and they poured a concrete, basically catch basin
Yeah,
that's gonna collect all the solids and everything.
yeah,
And with a homemade concrete lid that's non-sealing. And it looks good in the picture, but when you zoom in, the concrete's all, it's not sealed.
yeah,
First frost, it's gonna
Oh,
break
yeah.
that up.
yeah.
So, okay, but we've already issued, or Kyle's already contacted 2 different properties, so.
The other thought that was running through my head was, can we move any further with the county as far as flagging properties that are, that have had failed lateral inspections, so that the county knows when they're at deed recording to warrant, so that because if they failed or have failed or haven't had an inspection, then, and they've transferred these properties, then I just don't know what.
Kyle has a contact with, he knows somebody over at the title company in Winchester, the big one.
Yeah,
He's gonna contact them, because we've had title companies outside of Randolph County stop the sale of a property because they know, and they have a fiduciary responsibility
yeah,
to make sure that that's part of their job,
yeah.
isn't it? To make sure all the everything's legal.
Yeah.
So,
We've had, I'll state that this way. We've had more outside of the area title companies contact us
Then inside.
to get things cleared up than anybody
Yeah.
within Randolph County
Yeah.
contact us. So I would say that would be an uphill battle.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
Well, there's so many people that are buying homes on land contract and they don't,
Yeah.
I mean, on land contract, the buyer thinks they're doing the right thing, but the seller is just kind of being,
yeah.
kind
And
of
so
underhanded.
many of those, and most of the buyers that, or a high percentage of the buyers that so-called buy on contract don't really understand that they're more rent to own because they're not registered with the county. Those contracts aren't necessarily, and so there's a lot of people think they're buying on contract, they truly aren't because they haven't been registered with the county.
Well, you just stirred a thought in my head, and I just done it this morning, and there wasn't anything mentioned to me to have stirred the thought at the moment. I was at the city building, and the girl was there doing what she needed to do with Mary Ann. 625 South Street, it's one that sits out close to the road, and then the drive goes on back to the old Crawford property.
Yeah.
Well, apparently that sold this young girl and her guy or whatever.
Turn water on.
Yeah, it just totally slipped by me.
Once the water gets turned on, we have a hard time with complaint.
She said, "Oh, we got a really good deal." She sold it. I guess her husband, the lady that owned it, lived there. He passed away, and then she got tired of fooling with it and
But
sold
we're
it
not
to these
supposed to
kids.
take a deposit until that's done.
That's
So-
all I know is I was there, and Mary Ann said, "Hey," because I was getting ready to leave, and I said, "Holler if you need me," and she said, "Hey." I said, "Oh, okay, you need me already?" She said, "Yeah, can you go down to 625 South Street and turn that water on?"
Would you be willing to check on that when you get back? Okay. It's possible that it's been done. It's possible that the lateral inspection's good for 5 years and transferable to new owners. So,
Yeah, that one got by me.
well,
No, she did make the comment this morning, I don't know if it was before or after she spoke to you, that she and Angel both were having trouble getting onto the lateral. And I think she
the
had to call
master list?
Tyler. Yeah, I
Okay.
think she had to call Tyler and he got on and checked something for her.
okay.
So
Well, then
maybe
maybe
that
it was
was.
Maybe,
Okay.
but I failed you on that one.
Yeah, maybe not. If it was certified in the last 5 years, we're good. That's all I got.
That's it. Okay. Steve?
Well, I'm sorry, but I've got a little stack here. So, this is just an information thing. The cross-country meet here in Union City is the 6th of September. We've asked all brothers not to mow the park next week so that the cross-country course, when they mow it, is more visible. So please understand the grass will be a little tall. They are going to continue mowing the cemetery as normal, but the park will be a little long. Want to discuss paving, not paving, crack sealing the parking areas on North Plum and North Howard. We have been a little bit lax at following our paving projects with crack sealing and such, primarily because of budget. I'd like to be able to have the board's permission to take a look at the budget and look at, it's cheaper to actually, I just lost it, chip seal the parking areas than it is to actually crack seal it. So, we got an estimate from Wagner Paving. Don't know that we can do it all because I haven't really discussed it with Amy yet, but Plum Street is 3,616 feet. 9 feet wide is $9,040. And Howard Street is twice as long. It's 7,400 feet by 9 feet, and it's $18,500. So that's a conversation. We just did Division. We also they gave us a price to do the same thing to Division. It was 3156 by 5 feet because that road's a little narrower, and it's 4385 to do Division. I would propose we look at doing that probably next year, but
Well,
and we were looking at pairing this with some work being done on the high side, so we only have one motor feed. So,
start to say, if the money's there, if it's at all possible, while the equipment's in town, you know. Those three you mentioned, North Howard, North Plum, and Division, it'd be nice to just knock it all out and be done with
so
it.
if you guys would consider that, I'll put it on as an agenda item to formally discuss for the next meeting. But we would want to do it sometime before the end of October, I would think.
So
Okay.
I'll look at the figures and get out to everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everybody reviewed Mr. Banda's application. Jaime Tapia has left. I would like to recommend Juan Banda for that position in the Public Works. We've had discussions with him for 2 or 3 years probably in total about coming to work for the city. I think he would be easily trainable. I think he's a hard worker. I think he has a lot of skills and capabilities that would serve the city well. So I would propose that move forward as Jaime's replacement.
Okay, we need a motion on that.
I'll make the motion to hire Banda.
First,
I second.
second, okay, all in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Thank you.
This last reference is a little questionable.
Who was his last name?
Only it's,
Wait a minute, let me see.
except it's Tim Montano, which is something I'm used to.
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay,
She calls me
let's-
Montano all
Hang
the
on.
time.
Has the motion already been carried and passed?
Yeah.
Jeez.
This next one is kind of a weird conversation. So we have a young man that's worked for us for a little over a year. He's been in and out of some dicey situations, been in alternative school, so on and so forth. It's our belief he's completely on a straight and narrow path. He's lined up to finish school. The school's working with him to make that happen. We have a strange situation where somebody seems to be almost micromanaging what we have him doing while he's working for the city. And I've been on the Department of Labor website. I've looked at all the options and possibilities. What we've had him doing is working with the brush crew, dumping brush, mowing, driving a city truck to accomplish a process or a task. He is recorded in our insurance. He is covered. He is a licensed driver. But there's a conversation that he's not allowed to do those tasks per the state of Indiana, which I can understand reading it, how you could draw that conclusion. But there is a process by if he becomes an apprentice or a student learner, which I think we can do, then he does become eligible to do some of those tasks because we're training him to basically assume a potential
And
full-time
just so you
position.
know, I'm gonna speak for him. He's came a long ways from where he was. He's every day. I try to be the first one to show up in the mornings. He's always there before me. It's like pot liquor. Just pisses me off. I want to be the first one there.
This process started out as a favor to his uncle who's raising him. The kids had and I'm sure these two can speak in more detail, but he's had a rough life, a hard life, and he's just trying to do the right things.
If he continues on the path that he's on, which he's shown great improvement, I know I already said that. I have that problem to a fault of repeating myself, but I have full intentions of pushing when he turns 18 to bring him on as a full-time employee.
I've got my eyes on him for maintenance.
Well, however it works out, I'm just saying, he's teachable.
He wants to work.
He does what you ask of him. He doesn't complain. Stays busy. Most of the time he's self-motivated. He's still a young kid. He's 16. Once in a while, occasionally, I'll have to throw an eye at him, hey, and that's all it takes.
When's he turn 17?
October the 20th.
Soon, yeah.
It's a unique situation at the school. He's got enough credits to graduate. We have a local policy that says you have to attend 6 semesters of school to graduate early. So he's only attended 4 semesters. They have enough credits to actually graduate. So we've done everything on our end to accommodate the fact that he was just gonna walk away because he wanted to work full time. And so between Sarah and I, we've got him to the point where he only has to attend school 1 hour a week. And so he will do that for these 2 semesters. He'll graduate early and then he'll be 18 next October. And he'll be ready for full-time employment. So we would like, on our end, talking with Uncle and many times in the last 2 weeks, we'd like him to work as much as humanly possible because he's only gonna be at school, essentially 1 hour a week,
So this is all stemming from multiple complaints that's been received by one of our council members. We have stopped him basically from doing the task that we had him doing.
And it's hamstrung
And
us.
it's hamstrung the operation because now we're putting a full-time employee in that role to drive the dump truck and dump some brush and some tree limbs, and we're getting into leaf season and those things.
Well, and people that aren't familiar with the law, they've changed drastically
Correct.
over the last 6 months
Really?
on what you could have a kid do. I mean, you could, how late they can work, how many hours, it's all changed.
Right, so 16 and 17-year-olds are allowed to work adult hours.
They can do
There's
that.
no restrictions.
There's no restrictions.
So we just can't have him
do.
doing anything inherently dangerous. He is
Right.
allowed to drive trucks, but he, has to be
Yeah.
done during daylight hours. He
I
can't
just
be
can't
distracted.
see, like I said, he's got a Indiana state driver's license, you know.
So what I'm asking the board is to allow him to continue normal routines that we've had him doing for the last year. And I'm asking that we enter into an agreement that it's a student learner type agreement. It'll be signed by the school, it'll be signed by the city, and it'll be signed by his family. So that we have documentation that everybody's on the same page with what routines he's going to be participating in.
I don't know what that looks like at the schools, on the school's end, with the apprenticeship piece of that. I think it does require some, I'm not sure. I don't know what that looks like.
We need to find out,
Yeah.
because that seems to be the path that we can put this thing to rest and
Yeah.
allow him to do what he's been doing.
Right.
And it
Yeah.
improves the operation of the city, and he gets tremendous benefit out of it, and,
So we,
you know,
it's a lack of
it's
knowledge.
positive.
So,
You want that in the form of a motion?
Sure, we'll make that in the form of a motion.
We'll have to-
let the
Then I'm
school
gonna-
check out their
Yeah.
Then
details.
I'm gonna second it, and just preference, if you two feel like you need to abstain with conflict, you can. I don't necessarily know that there's a,
Yeah, I think
conflict,
I'm
but-
fine moving forward, but we have to move forward with the
yeah.
side note that we have to
Exactly.
research what does
Yeah,
that
it's gonna
look
be
like.
dependent on what the
Yeah,
school.
right.
Sure, yeah, okay. All in favor? Aye, opposed, the same. Okay. No, I think that's a good path, and we'll deal with what we have to deal with. But I think you've also got a good save there.
yep,
I'd like to
it's a
Be able
vendor
to-
in the city.
be able to save a lot more like that.
You guys have done a lot for it.
That's all I got.
Okay?
Sorry it was so much.
That wasn't that.
Ridiculous.
It wasn't that long, but usually I have nothing.
Is there overtime, Tim, is there overtime?
I just wanted to ask, have you guys, any of you heard any more rumbling and grumbling? I know when we first changed these intersections out here to four-way stops, there was people that was just thrashing it and bashing it, and other people loving it. I love it. I mean, when you pull up,
Yep.
stop sign, glance, nobody's there, you go on. You don't have to sit and wait for the light. But I think I have seen more people coming along. There's been some discussions where a lot of people are like, man, yeah, that's great. You can get through town quick.
Officially, we've received no complaints about the four-way stop, and we've received multiple compliments on the
Yes.
four-way stop.
So, the only question I had that been posed to me a couple times was, are the lights gonna stay up?
Yeah.
The lights are not going to stay up. They will be changed out to the same type of lights that's
Right.
down at the McDonald's intersection.
Oh, but it will be a
They'll
flash.
just be a
There'll be a flashing light.
That's been my biggest concern.
But it won't
It
have
won't be
the
a
three
full-
Well,
step.
no, but as long as there's something.
A flashing light,
Main
okay.
concern.
It'll just be the single four-directional red flashing traffic light.
That's the only thing I've heard as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you guys notice, it was there for years, and I can't recall exactly when it was taken down, or at least I think it's gone. Down here at A&W, there by, used to be marshes, there was always a flashing light there.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
been
it's
gone.
gone now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, I haven't paid
Pretty
any
sure.
attention.
I'll grab that way
There's
too
not too
often.
much to drive down for. No marshes.
Yeah, and that's, the lights are probably the biggest issue. That was when we met with NDOT. That was the biggest thing, is that those lights need to change. And the one thing that I'll encourage them is to get with it and change those, because the only thing that I've seen at all is every once in a while someone hesitate to go because they don't
I
quite
think
They
it's
don't know,
traffic.
yeah.
and some, especially for, and it's not necessarily people that are unfamiliar, because you've been hardwired to wait for a traffic light for years, and if you're not thinking about it, you pull up there and see the red and sit there. But I haven't had
We're
any
still
real-
technically under the 6-month
Right,
experiment.
yeah.
So-
But I mean, once that's done, I'd like to see them,
One thing that
Proceed.
came out of that from NDOT that I was surprised by, I guess, is they said that those intersections didn't have a high enough traffic count. Now, that surprised me of the one right out here at Pearl.
Yeah,
Now, the one at Oak Street,
yeah, the
I can-
Pearls, yeah.
but that just shocked me that this one didn't have enough traffic to warrant an actual
Especially with
four-way
the truck
stop.
traffic.
If I remember right, Brad, the traffic count at Oak Street was higher than the
Really?
traffic count at Pearl.
Really? That's even more surprising. Wow.
But yeah,
I've got those numbers somewhere if you wanna look at them.
It's me going to the Mexican restaurant.
Right?
yeah. Okay, well,
Oh, and just so you know, one more thing and I'll shut up. But our K.I.S.S 580 SN backhoe that we've spent tons of money on, it's back in the shop again with a severe oil leak. I don't know what this is gonna cost. But I think it was Jared or whoever that came and got it with a rollback, and just for the transportation up and back is $1,600, and I have no idea what the cost is going to be at the shop to actually fix that. The front main cover on the front of the block, that seal was leaking, and then the oil line to the turbo had a crack in it, it was leaking, and you'd run that for an 8-hour day, and you were down to the add mark on the oil, and that's not good.
Is it still overheating?
Yeah, yeah. And I've got them looking at that also. But anyway, we bought that brand new in 2016, and it's been nothing but trouble. I couldn't even begin to contemplate or even think of how many times I've had a service technician come to the shop because a warning light come on, this or that, or DEF fluid, and they have to plug in with a laptop and go through it and figure it out. Sometimes they can just push a button on the laptop and fix it. Other times, nope, gonna have to go to the shop. So I couldn't even tell you how many times it's went back to Fort Wayne to the shop. It's been, the bane of my existence. And I would love, we did a thing last year, wasn't it, Steve, where we had them come and give us a estimate on trading in our 3 backhoes and then purchasing it's a miniature front end loader, articulated loader, and to me that would be phenomenally a better process than what we're doing right now. But I know I just spent a good amount of money buying that F550, but if there was some way we could finagle it to where we could make something happen and get rid of that sucker and get something else. The thing about it is, this loader I'm looking at, you could go two routes. You could go with K.I.S.S or Kubota. They're both the same piece of equipment, different specs here and there. But the attachment point on the front is the same, it's quick attach, same as a skid loader. And we have multiple tools down there that fit on a skid loader. Post hole auger, we've got a land rake, we've got a Harley rake, we've got brushes, brooms, just all kinds of things that will fit on a skid loader. Well, if it fits a skid loader, then that loader we're looking at has the same attachment. You pull up, set it down, push a button, unlock it, back out from it, pull over to this one, pick it up, push the button to lock onto it, and down the road you go. Along with the amount of tools that are out there that we can rent. We don't need to own all these different pieces of equipment, but there comes occasion where we can call McAllister's or Richmond and say, hey, you got one of these doodads laying there? Yeah. I'll send a truck down, we can rent it for a day, we can rent it for a week. Bring it, use it, take it back. Where you don't have even remotely that capability with that backhoe, or any one of our backhoes, that quick attach front end. So, if there was some way we could see our way through to get that done sometime or another, it'd be a huge improvement on what we're doing with equipment.
So you're saying trade in the 3 to get one machine, but
Well,
we'll be able to attach to things.
We'd probably have to take the Ohio side. We had the Ohio side backhoe included in the process, we probably have to take it out because we haven't fully got the thing hammered out yet, do we, on the
I'm still waiting on the interlocal agreement.
interlocal agreement?
From the
Okay.
attorneys.
That, if we could have done that and we was gonna proceed with it, that would have been technically our first interlocal purchase where the Ohio side would have paid their portion. But we couldn't do that yet because that interlocal agreement's not in place. Now, as far as sharing equipment, using, I mean, to us anymore, we've got to a point that it doesn't matter if it's an Ohio side truck or an Ohio side backhoe or an Indiana backhoe. We use stuff where it needs to be used, you know? That state line, those pieces of equipment don't recognize that state line. So if it's something we've got and we need to do a job, we pick the best piece of equipment and go do it. So, it's just all that nitty gritty stuff, getting that worked out. But even if, let's say we figure out we can never do that, I don't know how that's all gonna work out. I still would like to have one of those loaders, either a K.I.S.S or a Kubota. And I'd have to really thoroughly check them out to make sure what the different specs are on them. You know, one of them, I think, will bend in the middle and then also has steerable wheels where the other one doesn't. I don't know if that'd be much of a benefit, so you just have to weigh one against the other. But you're looking at, I can't remember how much those things were,
You know, but very,
$90,000 or something like
we've
that.
had backhoes hit cars before.
Yeah.
And that would be much safer picking up brush, because you have that big boom out back and you're turning.
And I'm just thinking, I mean, I could go through and have Cindy pull the APVs on the money that we've spent the numerous occasions. I mean, we probably went to a long distance towards buying something different for all the money we've dumped into that backhoe. So, anyway, just putting that in your ear to ponder on.
And then there's me. Okay, so here's where I am with all the state, you know, coming down from the top and hitting us. I was at a conference a week and a half ago about 2 weeks ago. And they didn't even have all the answers yet. It's like, well, we really don't know yet. There was a meeting that they called Wednesday night or Thursday morning for Friday. And they're still saying 26 isn't looking horrible, but 27 and 28, if you don't batten down in 26, you'll never make it through 27, 28, because the cuts are so deep. You know, I mean, if we keep it going at the pace where we're at now, we could probably get through next year, but we've got to make cuts now to even be able to go forward. Where those cuts come from, I haven't quite figured out, but, you know. And from what I've heard, I don't know exactly, because I don't have enough hours in the day to pay attention to Ohio, but from what I've heard, it sounds like Ohio is pretty much being hit with the same thing from their state level down. So I don't know like I said, I don't have time to understand their things, let alone. But yeah, there's some major cuts that we're gonna have to try to consider.
Are you talking
whether
about
it's-
like in tax dollars?
Yeah, and I mean, tax dollars, like huge cuts.
They're all centered around basically revising the property tax system. And that obviously reduces everybody's operating budget.
Yeah,
But if it's a need, has to be a way to do the need or?
Well, I mean, that's just.
I know
it,
one way
yeah.
we can save money, quite a bit of money. I don't know how much that stuff costs, but that big old dumpster down there that I have to get switched
Well,
every week, we could sure.
And that
That's
is,
just me being cynical.
but I mean, cynical or not, honestly,
Is that down at the
may
dump?
be,
That's still, I'm telling you, we need to, I mean, you gotta have
Yeah.
a drop-off fee. Whatever it is.
I don't know that drop-off fee is gonna handle it, because it's people that, abuse it. You know, when one person can fill the entire thing, it's like.
Well, here's what happened. That dumpster used to be free and open, wide open to the public all the time. Okay? Well, there was a particular day, a few years ago, maybe even several years ago, Best Way came, brought an empty dumpster, picked up the full one, took it out, set the new one. Before the day was out, it was full, heaping full. And there was one particular landlord here in this town that's got his own little personal dump truck. And he kept hauling and hauling and hauling and bringing it down. I mean, in the one day, out with the old, in with the new, before the day was out, we're heaping full, calling to get another one.
Is there a?
That's when I started locking it up.
Is there a, I mean, I guess there's a couple ways that you could look at it or look into it. Is a drop-off fee for a load, which could be just the equivalent of what, you know, is.
But when you're
Truck
talking,
bed,
you're talking
or-
someone like
Yeah.
that.
But they have to,
runs
yeah, they
the
have
entire
to,
thing.
they have to pay every time they drop something off. Like if they bring 6 truckloads and it's $100 a truckload, then you pay $600.
Well, I mean, and just
To
trying
drop
to
that off.
man it though.
That's the
Yeah.
tough part, the management
yeah.
of it.
So like I said, it's not free and open anymore. What we started is a process now. The gates are closed. If somebody wants to bring something down, they have to go to the city building
Get a
and
ticket.
get a dump ticket. Well, when they get their dump ticket, then they holler at us on the radio, hey, we've got a person up here that wants to bring stuff down to the dump. And sometimes they'll say, hey, you might kind of want to have somebody there and take a peek at what they're bringing or the amount they're bringing. So we try to do that. So
Yeah.
then we'll get down there and we'll open the gates. And there's been a couple times guys have started to back in and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. They've got a trailer the length of this room and a truck full. No, you need to go to the landfill. That's not what this dumpster is for. But you can't always catch them at that.
Well,
And just like tires, we just hauled off a dump truck load of tires. There was like 52 tires. And it says plainly on the sign, no tires. And we have cameras, and we do have cameras, and it's on the signage. We have cameras, and they bring them down anyway and throw them off.
So are you thinking that just get rid of the dumpsters altogether?
Well, I've brought that up before, and what that's going to do is, if you don't give somebody somewhere to bring stuff, then it's just going to stack up, and we're going to have stuff laying around all over town. I've always been cynical, pessimistic, whatever the word is, about that, because the thing of it is, a few years ago, we brought this up in the Board of Works meeting about charging or this and that and whatever. I said, okay, I'll do my due diligence. I called Parker City, Farmland, Selma, Dunkirk, Albany, Red Key, all the towns around. I said, what do you guys charge? Do you guys charge for your dumpster? What dumpster are you talking about? I said, well, you don't have a city dumpster where your people? No. And I said, how do you guys do your brush pickup? I'm not saying I don't want to do brush pickup, but of all them places I called, not one of them goes around and does brush pickup. They provide a place for the people to bring the brush, and they handle it after that. But they don't go out and get brush and do brush pickup.
So where do those patrons or those citizens take their trash?
Jay County, well, up in that area, probably Jay County landfill. Winchester used to provide dumpsters. They stopped. They had like 6 of them stacked up. And I went over there one day to see about buying a dump truck off of them, or well, I actually bought 2. And when I pulled in, I swear to you, I am not exaggerating in the slightest. You didn't know there was dumpsters there.
so huge.
I mean, 6 dumpsters just completely covered, mounted up, falling over the ends. And it wasn't long after that, they cut it off and they quit providing
So would
dumpsters.
it, I mean, financially, maybe we need to look at the financials of this, but what's the cost of keeping dumpsters there all year versus doing like the city cleanup once or twice a year and
Yeah,
saying
I
we're
don't-
doing city
I don't know.
cleanups on these
I know the
days?
city has a contract with Best Way.
And they do large item pickups.
And we've
Yeah.
got dumpsters all around at different city locations, the street department, the fire
Yeah.
department, you know.
I'm just saying, check,
Yeah.
let's look into what those financials are. If we're gonna have to make cuts and that's something that's not cutting someone's job and it's not, I mean, that, I would rather start there than looking at some of the other things. I mean, what does it cost us to
I know
provide those dumpsters?
Those dumpsters, there's a certain number of those included, I think, in the contract, but we go way over that,
Yeah,
so.
Well, a couple of thoughts come to mind. One, the one thing that I think of right off the top, if this is in the guise of continuing to take that. One, need to charge for it. Two, my thought process says that there is a limit to what you can bring in terms of if you want to dump permit, if it fits in a pickup truck, okay. Beyond that, you're gonna take it someplace else.
They bring whole living rooms full of furniture down, a
That's what I'm
recliner and a
saying.
love seat and a couch, you know, lift chairs and,
Yeah,
They're using that instead of the large
Instead of the
item
large item
pickup.
pickup.
And we
And-
need to force them into using what's covered in those
and we
contracts.
put that on I know the paper water bills have something on the back, like we put information on the back.
Yeah.
Is that something that we can say for large item pickups, please call wherever and
isn't
schedule?
it like the first
to be picked
Wednesday of
up
the
from
month
your
or something like
house?
that,
I
Best Way
believe it
does?
is. I think
But
it's
see,
a-
here's the thing with that too, the person or the resident or at blah blah address, they have to call and say,
Right.
hey, this is Joe Blow at blah blah address and I'll have this.
Right.
They
That's
have
what I
to-
mean, maybe put it as a reminder, we got, if
Yeah,
this
we're not
isn't
leaving
working and we need to
high
find
and dry.
something else, then.
I
Yeah.
will say that Chad has had us on other occasions, you know,
quite frankly,
go out and do large item pickup.
one of the things we're doing with this to a certain degree is that some enterprising individual might be able to have a nice little side
Exactly what I was
business
thinking.
hauling refuse,
One just opened up.
really. And so rather than us charging for it, let somebody in the, private business,
I have 2 trailers and that's all they do every day.
okay?
So my question, Amy, would be, can we just get the financials on that, like what the cost is for those trailers, what it costs the city for those
Yeah.
dumpsters?
'Cause
For the
like-
year,
Yeah.
or monthly, or however that breaks down, so we can.
Like
review
Brad
it.
said, I'm not, without really digging into it, I'm not sure what is included in that
Mhm.
contract, because it's what, every 2 years, or is it longer?
We actually should be negotiating that.
I was gonna
think,
say,
this
and
year.
when the contract
I think it's-
ends.
I think it
Up for
ends
contract
in
next
26.
year.
Is it 26?
I'm pretty sure it's 26.
It's a great time to
Yeah.
start talking about it then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if we could isolate what we're, how many dumpsters we're paying for in that location, beyond what they give us and beyond what we spend, I probably wanna, we can have the number for what we spend on the annual cleanup day, but the biggest thing is to isolate the cost of that pretty close, and if it's ballpark, it's enough, but, just so we can see
Well,
for one, what kind of savings we can
The
make.
other side of that conversation for the cleanup day, pollution solutions availability for grant funding is somewhat diminished as well. So that changed what we did even this year. So moving forward, that has to be taken into that consideration for the.
Well, I will have to
cleanup
say,
day.
I talked to that Shonda. Is she from Randolph County Solid Waste or something, or?
It could be.
Well, that truckload of tires that I had Zach take Saturday after he was on call, he made his rounds and we loaded the truck on Friday. I had him take them Saturday. They were there from 8 to noon, I think, Saturday, and they said we won't be back till Thursday. So once he finished his rounds Saturday, I had him run the truck on over and they didn't charge us to take those tires.
Well, they were hoping for grant funding, but they couldn't promise it. So if they didn't charge us, then they have some grant dollars.
So,
So who can be in charge to do that? Because I'm okay to charge for the people to take the trash over there. But we talked about this how long ago, I don't know.
Yeah.
And
Every year
I
for the
don't
last
see,
5 years.
I don't see no
This
changes, I
exact
don't
conversation's
see no
happened every year for the
improvement.
last
So I
5
think
years.
when we have a problem, we need to have a solution. And here we're talking again about that, but we don't have,
That's why I think we need the financials and then we need to make a decision so that we're not having this conversation again next year and the year after and the year after and the year after.
Well, and like I say, one of the challenges on this whole thing is the fact that we have we have kind of the problem of giving permits, whether it's paid or not, at the city building, because that's where we have personnel available, and then the dumpsters are down here, so we've got this gap of space where it's hard for your office to handle that and navigate it, and then the guy shows up with a massive load, and it's
I mean,
it'd be
it's
a lot
one thing
easier.
when they have the items loaded, when they come in, and you
Yeah.
can kind of see what they
Yeah.
have, but it's when they
No,
leave and
I
then they
totally
put
agree. Yeah, I
the
just,
trailer in
And,
there.
and that's
Yeah.
why I just made the statement about, say, limit it to what'll fit in a pickup bed, and even then necessarily say, and you're not gonna, it's gonna be a pickup load maybe once a month, or once, twice
oh,
a
they
year
can
or
do it
something.
every day, but they have to
But,
pay every day. And another
But
thing.
the problem is, and the other thing you need at that point, you've gotta get a license plate number, you've gotta get
yep.
a driver's license from the person, all these things. Is that worth it to put your office through that with people constantly to facilitate this, or do we just stop it?
Well, that's why I think that we need the financials, so
Right.
if the service does stop, we can say, this is why, because it was costing us $17,000 a year to pay for dumpsters. We just saved the city $17,000 a year.
But we
Maybe
don't-
it cost me
we don't know how much
$100.
it even costs.
Right, that's what I mean. We
There's
need
some
the-
involved in the contract, nobody ever seems to know. so
We
that's
need
why I'm
that
saying,
information.
Everybody keeps talking
From,
about it.
from time to time, I'll have somebody say, well, so are you gonna raise
Might
my
not cost us
taxes?
anything, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't even know that, right? I mean,
No, it does, we pay for it,
Yeah.
yeah.
From time to time, somebody will say something to me about, are you gonna raise my taxes? So I don't have the ability to raise your taxes. You're pretty much, if you live in Union City, you're on the tax caps. So your assessment's gonna set your taxes, what you pay to the city. We don't have any control over that. So we're gonna have what we're told what we get, and that's, we can't.
I know
The
that
days
when-
of raising your taxes are over with.
Oh, when I lived in Winchester, I used their dumpsters. You had proof of residency
Yeah.
to use the Winchester dumpsters. So that can be one of the easiest first things you can do.
Yeah,
Get
but-
rid of landlords, whatever you guys are talking about, landlords, because if they don't have the driver's license that proves they live in Union City, they can't use our dumpsters. So I know for a fact. I
And
mean, that
another-
was 20 years ago when I lived in Winchester. I remember
See, that's
one
the thing.
time using it, I
Just-
had to give my
So
license.
specifically, what you're talking about is landlords here in town, they'll have somebody pack up and move out. Well, they leave half a house full of stuff
Right, yes.
there.
I've cleaned many of those.
And they are a for-profit entity. They're a landlord. They're charging rent, and we're allowing them to bring that stuff down there and dump off on us for free? No, I don't think so. You need to take it to the landfill.
Sure, absolutely.
And we have caught some, when they would come in multiple times, it's like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
So I mean, we try to ask what property, what's your address and, but,
It's just,
Make it
there's a
pretty
lot
creative.
of work on, sounds like, the city building managing that. And it's, I
That's the
mean,
reason I say who's gonna be in charge of doing the fees,
Yeah.
like.
and not only,
and when-
exactly.
When you say, like, they come and say, I'm gonna take my S10 truck, that is a little truck, I'm gonna take this, and then I go and change it for my big car, and I go over there. Well, when I come with you and I say to you, I have my little truck full of this trash, and you give me the little slip, and it says S10 or a little truck or something, I don't know. So when I go over there and he opens the gate, I'll give him the ticket and he said, okay, it's 10, my little truck. And he's like, oh, no, hold on, this is a semi. No, so you cannot go in there.
Well,
It's just a matter of having an extra person down
To
there
do
too.
that.
But the one who's
Yeah,
gonna
it's
open the
always-
gate, because the gate is closed,
well,
so.
and my belief is if we are going to continue, I still believe that we need to assess a fee. And I
Charge,
think it needs to be
yes.
significant. It needs to be, because nobody's gonna do that, no private enterprise is gonna do that without being able to profit, so we should at least do that service at least a neutral number.
Yeah, even a break even.
Or break even.
And now, especially if we have people that are doing it for profit.
Yes.
in
I would
town,
prefer,
that's gonna be
and
good.
there again,
But
that's
there's
why I
100
say
ways
if
to
somebody
fix it,
will do it
willing.
for profit, I'd
That's
rather
the
let
key.
them have that.
You know,
Yeah.
and I understand it's gonna create more work for other people, but I mean, there's many ways we can fix this.
Yeah.
But are we willing to do that?
Yeah.
If we're not willing to do these, then we just gotta stop talking about it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I agree.
So the fee for my S10 will be
$1,000.
25. 25. 25 or 30.
And that's,
Okay.
you can't, I don't think we can figure out what this, till,
Until we
again,
know
I
numbers.
can't talk about this anymore
Till you
until
have-
I get numbers.
till you have numbers.
Until I have
You
a
know
breakdown of
roughly.
what is
You
it,
know
so you can
roughly.
come up with something that's gonna cover your
Full-size
costs.
Pickup trucks would fill
Well,
cubic yards.
Well,
Yeah,
the dumpster is a 30-yard dumpster, and it just depends on what the material is getting placed in there.
If it'll crunch down,
Yeah.
we smash it down.
Yeah.
And they don't like it when we do that.
and
No,
that.
no, because
The dumpster can be
Cause it's so
heaping
heavy,
full.
yeah.
yeah, but they don't
Okay,
like it
but then I'll back in with the backhoe and reach in there and just smash, and I can get it sometimes down halfway and still have a half a dumpster,
yeah.
so.
Well, we'll see what information we get and take a look at this again here. But we'll move on.
But I was just shocked at the number of communities that I reached
Yeah, I
out
remember
to
when you did that.
Yeah, I do too.
That
I
don't
was
even-
shocked too,
Yeah.
but
don't even provide a dumpster. We don't have a dumpster.
I guess it doesn't surprise me. But I was shocked at that time,
And-
'cause
and
I
I-
thought everybody did.
I'll acknowledge that we've accomplished a lot over the years of
Yeah.
cleaning up the community, and by having some of that service available has helped, but we've also tremendously been taken advantage of. And then also people, for instance, you know, I have a son lives outside of Union City, Ohio. Well, they've accumulated trash before, so he said, hey, can I put it in your dumpster? Yeah, well, I have a dumpster at my business,
Yeah.
but what if somebody says that, and yeah, I'll take it down to the city dumpster for you.
And I'm
On
sure
the-
See, and that's another
I
thing.
know that happens all the
They
time.
bring down tires, they bring down TVs, they bring down oil and paint and
Oh, yeah.
antifreeze toxic stuff. And if you're not right there watching them as they're offloading the stuff, then if they find it, if they dump and they find it
Oh,
at the landfill, they know exactly where that dumpster came from. They're like, whoa, wait a minute, you're not supposed to take
And a
this.
number of
this,
these things
this."
are things that could have gone to pollution solutions.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, did you have anything else, Amy? No? Or you?
One other quick thing, I don't know if it's, do the students still have a requirement for so many, like, community service hours to graduate?
Well, the new diploma requirements that won't be adopted until they're adopted with the current freshmen. They do have community service, but, I guess why are you asking?
I was just wondering, we've got so many older citizens, you know, and I thought of this as I was out there trying to get my weeds under control, you know, along the fence line. I was like, this is crazy, because it's just been so,
Terrible year.
yeah, this year has been really rough, and I'm thinking, man, you know, what about these people that can't get down there and try to get those weeds up, you know?
Right.
So I didn't know if that would be something, you know. And
Well, I
like I said,
know-
I'm sure there's a need out there.
Yeah, well, I know NHS still does some. I used to require community service hours in my government class, but I'm not teaching government anymore. So, but there are still organizations that those students do still need community service hours. Yeah.
I think the biggest thing over my years, all my kids do community service and I require them all, but it's organization of that. I mean, if I said, yeah, send them my way, my next
Yeah.
3 months is going to be organizing that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I work 17 hour a day right now, so I mean, the chance of being able
Well,
to
you know,
organize that.
and there, you know,
Get it
there
done
are
would be
kids that
impossible.
would take it upon themselves to, you know, kind of put the word out, okay.
I think
looking for this,
it'd be
you know,
amazing if
there's a
someone
need.
wanted to do. I can give you 100 kids' names that I'll make
Need
them go
community
do
service
it.
hours,
Well,
yeah.
I wouldn't call community service. I'll say you're going to go do this. But if we had some organization to it, you know, to the point where we knew that Johnny at 1206 North Howard needs you for 2 hours on Saturday morning, you know. But for us to organize that, it would
Now our
be
tier,
impossible.
We need,
The
we
tier
need a
4 program?
volunteer to order.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be impossible.
volunteer to
Yeah,
organize
I
volunteer.
mean, yeah.
Does the tier 4 program require community
Yeah,
service?
yeah.
So
We
that,
do a lot of it through the school. Yeah, I mean, there's opportunities, but, and I don't want anything I'm negative about. I'm just saying the organization of that would be
Yeah.
impossible to pull off from anybody that's working at school right now. I mean, that's the issue. But yeah, we've done a ton. We still do a ton with the athletic department of community service, but it's just organizing that would be tough.
That would, to me, that would be a good retiree job.
Yeah,
Somebody
yeah,
that wanted
yeah.
to do something.
Yeah.
Right now, when I was head football coach, if somebody just called and said, hey, we need your help, then I'd organize a group to go do it. But
Yeah.
to put that out there and be able to do that would be a lot.
Okay, is that it? Okay. Any board members have anything they'd like to add? If not, the next Board of Works meeting, Monday, September 8th at 1:45 PM. And are we moving to
We
the,
need to move to the council
we
chambers.
will be moving to the council chambers on the 8th then,
That's on the
correct?
city
You
building,
pay the
right?
rent for this month still?
Yeah, we're getting kicked.
We have not.
I see.
Evicted?
I see.
Yeah, if you look at the sign out at the end of in the hallway, Banker's Life has requested this as they grow and add insurance agents in training. They've requested this on Monday, so, we're going to help them out and we can relocate. I've confirmed it with the judge and everybody's good.
Okay.
Perfect.